What up, nerds? My name is Leslie. Welcome to the Nerdy Narrative. Today I'm going to do something I've never done on the channel before. I've been asked about a lot, just never got around to doing it for one reason or another. But I got a couple of new bookcases. One is empty behind me, you can see. The other one's over here out of frame. I'm going to be rearranging all of my bookshelves, and then I will do a little brief bookshelf tour so you can see all of my collection, because a lot of books I read before I started the channel, so some of you may have never heard about them, and it may open up more that we have in common with one another about what we've liked to read in the past versus what we may want to read in the future. So without further ado, let's get into it. So what you're seeing here is about an hour into this reorganization. An hour, you say? What happened was I had a plan. I started arranging my books that way. Then I changed my mind. And then I started arranging them again. And then I changed my mind back to the first plan. And then I got all the way over into the second bookcase. And I was like, you know what? I don't like that. I'm going to go this other route. So what I'm working on right now, this is all of my Christian fiction. And then I go into my nonfiction, my romance, historical fiction, and then I'm going to start working on my classics here. I am very sad at how small my nonfiction and my classics section is, so I'm going to have to work on that. Then I'm going to move into my science fiction novels, and you all let me know. I wasn't sure if you all would like to see all of the books individually, and I just felt like that would make this a very, very long video. So if it's something you want to see, what I was thinking is I could either maybe do one video going over like each bookcase, or I could separate it into genres, or I could even just do a couple of shelves at a time, maybe do one little video a week. You all let me know down in the comments below what your preference is. If you have a dog in that fight, if you don't care, then we can just let it go with this little reorganization video here and call it done. Now I'm working on my YA fantasy section, which is a pretty good chunk. I didn't realize I had so much YA. I was pretty surprised when I was putting this together, and I'm pushing and pulling because I organized according by author's last name, which meant mixing up my paperbacks and hardbacks, and to sort of help my OCD be okay with that, I would arrange it so my spines were out. The hardback, I would go as far as they would go in, and then I would line up all of the spines to match that hardback, so they would just be all the spines would be even. This is my horror section here, my horror, mystery, and thriller section. I couldn't really decide if I wanted to separate those three genres, but for now they're all grouped together. Just like here in my fantasy, the bulk of my collection is fantasy, but it is grimdark, high fantasy, just low magic fantasy, steampunk fantasy, urban fantasy. All of that is all together in this one large last final grouping of shelves. And I was having quite the time trying to figure out how to organize. And this one was the most difficult to organize because these books were all over the place. I had them all out of order because previously what I did is all of my fantasy was together, but I matched hardbacks and then I would go into paperbacks, and I was trying to put all of the books that were the same size together so that it would look kind of uniform. And we're going to see, so far my OCD's been okay with how it looks with them all mixed up and just willy-nilly with sizes. I mean, look, there's even some mass market paperbacks still in there. I was going to cut this out. I've lost a book. I am searching for Mask of Mirrors, and I couldn't find it. It was on the shelf below where I was working the entire time. Oh, there it is. But yeah, back to mass market paperbacks. I have maybe a dozen mass market paperbacks still. No, I've actually got more than that. I just have them hidden. I'm going to get rid of them. That's the Rift War Saga you can see on that shelf I was messing with. I'm going to upgrade to get trade side paperback of those. But I'm not going to let go of my mass markets until I secure those, just in case. The Sort of True series, one of my favorites. I need to reread that soon. And then John Gwynne. I really had a time with this shelf. I kept moving things around and changing how I had the books on there. It was really funny. And the ones that you see that are facing out, for the most part, the books that I chose to face out, they're either my favorites or the ones that I think are the most beautiful in the series. So that's kind of my method to my madness there. But for the most part, the one facing out was the favorite. Poor Eye of the World. I mean, not Eye of the World. Poor Wheel of Time. All of my mass market paperbacks, I was hiding behind the big hardback for the Eye of the World. Oh, my Dark Tower collection. Love that series. That's my favorite one. And now I'm getting into the end because you can see the Brandon Sanderson Warbreaker there. So I am in the S's. I am almost there, you guys. The end is not. And what's hilarious is how that shelf ended up looking is not how I left it. And here's a quick little pan of once I got finished. These are my shelves for now. I did remember to leave room so that I could add to each shelf without rearranging the entire collection. I'm glad I thought about that because that really is a pain in the tail when I add a book in and I'm like, oh no, I have to move all of these books. So that's why I face some out too, to basically take up room and hold some spots. So, but I'm pretty happy with the way it looks for now. You know, as bookworms, we love to move our books around and play with them and change how they look. But that's going to do it for my bookshelf reorganization with the addition of 2 new bookcases. Don't forget to let me know in the comments down below if you want to see a shelf by shelf, case by case breakdown of all my books. See you guys in the next one.